Welcome, welcome, Kitchen Sink family members. Greetings wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome, welcome to our discussions. So excited for what I'm thinking for us to talk about today, because I think that it makes a difference in our lives when we are able to be candid with each other, like we did last time regarding the issue of peace. Today we will be delving into issues to do with finances, and I'm hoping that my young friends, our algorithm shows that my biggest following is between the age of 35 to 54. So those are my friends, and I really want for us to discuss things that I know pertain to your age group, and also things that add value in your life. And I think the issue of finances is crucial, particularly in our setting and our setting in Zimbabwe, where we are as an economy, we are recovering, and we've come quite a lot from where we were once upon a time, but we are still not yet where other economies are. How do we survive? How are we surviving? And those of my friends, I have friends in Kenya, in Australia, in America, in the United Kingdom, and anywhere else in the world. I'm believing the principles that we are discussing this afternoon, they will apply to you even much more easier if you are in a stable economy. Because the truth of the matter is, people are making it in Zimbabwe. Before I even read the scripture for today, let me tell you, I've just come from visiting a family member outside in the perimeters of Harare. The level of construction that is happening. Last weekend we were in Mutare. We went right up to, Kumusha in Zimunya. Everywhere there is construction happening, including in our rural setting. I mean, we were shocked to see a homestead that we grew up seeing, and as we were, first and foremost, there is a much easier road when you are done from the tarred road. There is a much easier road, and we were wondering, and it's even labeled. I come from Zimunya. That's where my father's homestead. I'm not talking where I married. I married in Chimanimani, but in Zimunya, my father's homestead. You come to a place called Bezeli Bridge, and we do not cross the bridge. You drop off before the bridge. And when we were going Kumusha, we were told to come down. We used to branch off much earlier, and we would go for kilometers and kilometers, through people's fields. But we were told there's a much easier road to go home. And we believed them, but we were also a bit cautious. And when we got to that place, it's actually marked Majika Road. And we're thinking, okay, what's happening here? And when we turned on that road, it's clearly marked. Further on, down that road, a child of the soil from our rural home has come home, built a beautiful, homestead, developed, his own homestead, such that he realized to access that homestead, he needed a good road. And he's rehabilitated what used to be a footpath. It's now a good road where we drove on it easily, and in a matter of maybe 10-15 minutes, we also arrived at our own homestead. Guys, things are happening in Zimbabwe. And all these things, they hang on finances. Let me give you a scripture. Very interesting scripture. In Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. I know people normally read verse 6, but verse 7 of Proverbs 22 is also very, very important. In English, it says, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. In Shona, Zvirevo 22 ndima 7 inoti, mupfumi anobata ushe pamusoro pomurombo, anotora chikwereti muranda wowakamupa chikwereti. Can you hear that? Ukatora chikwereti uri muranda kune uyo akupa chikwereti. Let me tell you, this is true, this is real. I have lived through it, and it's painful. But today we can have a conversation on how we can survive and live life like others are living in an economy that is in a recovery mode. We are not in a first world, we are still a third world, and in that third world, I think we were bottom of the list once upon a time. But God's grace is upon us as a nation, as a people. Slowly but surely, we are coming out of the doldrums of our economy. And when you travel, the other week I traveled to Bulawayo. Everywhere people are building, in Norton, in Chegutu, in Kadoma, in Kwekwe, Gweru, right up to Bulawayo, and the smaller, places in between. There is so much development, so much construction that is happening. Talk of road infrastructure development, oh my goodness. Today I went the direction of the new parliament in Harare. It's beautiful to drive on that road. There is something that is happening. Do not be left behind because you are financially illiterate, because you are pessimistic about the situation and the circumstances around us. Do not be left behind. And I know we have lost, they used to tell us about brain drain. They used to tell us about a lot of these things. Wherever you are, take advantage. Don't dwell, on these sufferings of Zimbabwe and think you are okay just because you crossed the border. No, you are not okay. You have to begin to live a life that will ensure that, there is success in your life continually, not just at the end of every month. So what do we talk about regarding finances? The scripture that I read is talking about the lender, is talking about the borrower, is talking about the rich, and it's talking about the poor. There is a way that rich people live. And that's what we want to talk about. We will talk about a lot of things. And by the way, this conversation is probably going to be much longer, in which case there will be a part 1 and a part 2. So don't worry. We will make sure that we have discussed this matter to its end. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Some of these terms, they are relevant to say when someone says the rich, what is to be rich? It's relevant. What I might call rich in my definition in Zimbabwe, if I go to South Africa, just next door to us, I may not be considered as a rich person. So that's how relevant these terms are. So I'm talking of richness in our context, not in the context of anyone. So if you are a Zimbabwean and you are wherever you are, in the context of Zimbabwe, just by virtue of you being outside of Zim, you're in Mozambique, you're in Zambia, you're in South Africa, you are far off in the United Kingdom, in Europe, wherever, we consider you people out there to be rich. As far as we are concerned, just by going outside, you are rich. So we expect you to be those, when we need money, we ask of you as the ones that are poor at home, and you help us. And then scripture says, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Very true. We went through a period where there were loan sharks in Harare. People suffered, having borrowed some money. In Shona, it's called chimbadzo. You borrow today and you die, perpetually financially, because you can never recover because of the interest rates. I once watched a documentary about, the caste system in India, where families become enslaved for generations because some great-great-grandfather borrowed beyond his capacity and has enslaved even his own generation and generations to come. They are still working as slaves, trying to pay a debt that a great-great-grandfather, entered into. So these things are real. It's not a Zimbabwean phenomenon only. It's happening everywhere in the world. But in our context, we want to bring it back home. How come there are people that are building, constructing houses? There are people, companies, from where I live, I just need to drive 20 minutes and there is a whole industrial area that's coming up, that's being developed. Huge construction happening, not for domestic purposes, but for industry, development of industry. There's one massive one that's coming. And I can imagine, manufacturing happening in there. How is that happening? Where are people getting money to be able to do that? So that's what we want to talk about. There are some aspects about finances that are very important for if you have to begin to deal with this matter. The issue that I've just alluded to, financial illiteracy. When you have gone to university, you attained your degree in whatever discipline that does not include a study of finances, and when you are done, educated as you are, you realize that, there is something that you do not know about. And this affects everyone. Because sometimes you think, to have money is enough, but you want to know how to use it. You want to know how to grow money. You want to know how to, to have a healthy relationship with money. How do I spend money when I have it? How do I save money? How do I plan for my money? It's very, very important. And like I'm telling you, in our setting in Zimbabwe, particularly young people, under the age of 40, oh my goodness, they have shown us that, a lot can happen and a lot can be gained when you know how to use money, even in an economy that is not, being recognized as a successful economy. Very, very important. So I've been talking to young people around me and I've been asking questions. How are you living? How are you surviving? How are you managing? How are you coping? How are you making money? Very important. And the basic principles that affect people the world over are affecting our people. You have to have a healthy relationship with money. Don't lose yourself the moment you receive a few bucks in your hands. You want to live like, stories that get told, in the hood, that someone had money and they went into the closest bar and they bought beer for everybody. No, it's not necessary. Because the next morning you wake up with no money at all, except the friends who, if they remember to say thank you. There is ways where we can handle our money and achieve far much more with whatever, we are receiving as income. That is very, very important. And then the other aspect is regarding financial literacy. Now, you young people particularly, there is YouTube. Learn, teach yourself. How do I manage, life on a budget? How do we manage wedding on a budget? How do we manage, there is so much available to us, information. Educate yourself. Educate yourself and listen when those that are successful are talking. Listen to understand how did they do it. It's the how-to that is crucial. And one of those keys, the how-to key, is to know how to save money, how to generate money, how to plan for the money that you have, how to stay within the parameters of the money that you have, how to live within my means. All those things are very, very important. So I was asking a simple question, a young man, how are you saving money in the absence of, trusting, for our banking system? And they said something very, very profound and something that I myself am living by today. I can tell you that when I receive whatever, when I've sold whatever, commodities that I have, and I have a little bit of money in my hands, I use that money, I save that money, and how I save it is, I put it in envelopes, for whatever I need to do. But this young man was telling me that there are piggy banks, in Harare. He says they are even being sold in Barede. I'm sure there's a lock to it so that you don't open it every day, where you can put your money and according to your needs. if you need to be saving for fees for the children, there's a piggy bank for that. If you need to pay money for rentals, there's a piggy bank for that. If you need to save money, for an asset, maybe the only thing that you have at that time is a bed. You want to buy other things in life. There is a piggy bank for that. And as a young person, alone, as two young people that are married, you can save your money that way. Years ago, and even now, they're beginning to do it. We used to have monetary instruments where we could save money through, and that money would earn some interest. It didn't happen for the longest of time, but now we're going back there. Maybe it's one aspect to consider. But if you are not yet where you can do it through the bank, you can still save money. No one has an excuse that, I don't have a bank account. You can save money. And usually it's easier to save money when you have a target. You say, I want to buy this asset, and I'm saving towards that asset. When you save towards a particular thing, one, it gives you, the whatever it is that you're aiming for. Two, as you constantly see it in your mind, that which you want to purchase, it drives you to save some more. Three, by the time you're able to purchase it and it becomes yours, there's so much excitement, so much celebration, you want to save for the next item. Very, very important. And then the other aspect that happens around money is immediately when you begin to have a healthy relationship with money, everyone that I have talked to, no sooner do they realize that one stream of income is insufficient. You cannot have one stream of income. If you have a kumusha, upcountry, village, whatever you call it, what can you do on that little piece of land at home? What can you do that will ensure that at some point you will earn money? Yes, you can grow grains, in the fields. You can keep chickens, you can keep rabbits, you can keep cattle, goats, lamb. You can do that. And from that, you can begin to earn some money. Meantime, back in town where you are going to work, you can think of what else can you do? How else can you add on to income, for yourselves? I know people who work an 8-to-5 job, but, after work, they are making cakes. They are making some pies, some food items. That's one line that people are taking. Others are tailoring at night. Others are tutoring people at night. Others are doing different types of hustling, jobs after hours, so that they create another income stream, as opposed to just saying, I have a job. It is not enough. It's not sufficient. You have to think of an extra 2, 3, if not 4 jobs for you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve in life. So it's very, very important for us to know that there will always be some recurring needs. There is always a demand on your money. And if you live looking only at one source of income, you will not be able to succeed. I was talking to a young lady a few months ago. She was able to come from the diaspora for a friend's wedding, and we were just laughing on how expensive things are now. And she said, you know what, Auntie, I actually took an extra job so that I don't interfere with my everyday budget. I had to work extra to earn more money so that I could save up for my ticket. There's the issue of creating an extra income stream. There's the issue of delayed gratification. There's the issue of, diligence and discipline to the cause. Some people, it's difficult, because you're not disciplined. You save a little money, you eat it, and you save again. In the end, you get so discouraged. You get so discouraged. So, hey guys, let's be talking about money, and we're going to continue to talk about money. because it's very, very important. While we are at it, please subscribe, comment, like, and share these links. Thank you so much. Thank you.